What's going on, YouTube? I got Chance here from the NFT11 team. It is 6 a.m. in Singapore right now. I gotta say, Chance, you are the man for joining us, sacrificing your sleep, being a man of your hustle, and joining us on our channel at 6 a.m. your time. Say what up to everyone, Chance. Introduce yourself, please.
Yo, what's up, everybody? So, I'm Chance. I'm known as the Gnome within the NFT11 community. I'm the CMO of NFT11, so basically in charge of all marketing related stuff and product development of NFT11. To be here, thanks for having me here to share more about the project.
Absolutely, Chance. We're very happy to have you. I mean, I know you're a very busy man. You have a lot going on with your project. You guys are growing. There's a lot going on, Why don't you start by telling us, Chance, a little bit about your project, NFT11. Tell us why people should care, how you're different from other projects, what sets you apart, that kind of thing.
All right, cool. NFT11, the concept of NFT11 is really easy to grasp. It's very straightforward. Reason being because we are building a football simulator game on the blockchain. So I'm pretty sure that most of us grew up with football simulator games like Football Manager, even grew up with FIFA, Winning 11, Pro Evolution Soccer, etc. So soccer or football is the most beautiful sport. There's the most number of fans around the world, and that's why we decided to build a blockchain game based around something that is so popular among mainstream audience. So for NFT11, our vision is to be able to bring GameFi into the mainstream audience. We know that currently there are some ways in the mainstream market. They know a little bit about NFTs, they know a little bit about GameFi, but their understanding of it isn't really there. And that's what NFT11 vision is to really be able to bring this GameFi market to the mass audience. And that's why we pick football as the game to start off with. So it's a football simulator game. Basically, you own a squad of 15 players, 11 on your main squad, 4 for your reserve. You own these players as NFTs, and you form a club, and then you take part in tournaments, divisions, and obviously there is that play and earn factor to it. If you win matches, you will get payout, you get rewards, and if you win your tournaments, you also get payouts and reward. Yeah, that's just in a nutshell what NFT11 really is about. As I said, the concept is straightforward. It's a football simulator game on the blockchain.
People that are interested in your project, if they want to invest, when and where can we buy NFT11 tokens? Is it already listed on exchanges?
Yeah. So our token was listed, is now listed on H-Drop. We actually listed our token on 11 February. It's called NFT11, right? So we picked on 11 February for us to list our token on H-Drop. Currently, H-Drop is our only DEX that we have listed NFT11. However, if I was saying people who want to get into NFT11 metaverse, it's not really just buying the tokens itself. It's about owning the NFTs as well. Owning the players. So that's what I would recommend people who want to get into NFT11 to first invest in, is to kind of buy the players first, or form a club and really be able to participate in the ecosystem rather than just buying the token and hoping that the token price go up or go down. Yeah, so for our currently, we had a few weeks of sales. The team, we kind of released a few NFTs. We have released our players, we released our stadium for people to buy. But currently, we have kind of put on hold our sales, mainly because we are upgrading all of our NFTs. So at the start, our NFTs our players and our stadium seats, they were a little bit, I wouldn't say they were concept art, but then they were quite rudimentary in design. And after we saw the amount of support that we got, we had like 13 weeks straight worth of sales, and every sale was a sellout within less than an hour. So we saw that huge amount of people interested in buying our NFTs, so then we decided to, now is the time to upgrade our NFTs to really, give these people what is worth. We don't want to just get them to buy NFTs that do not look like this value. So yeah, that's kind of the status of our NFTs currently. There are some of our players are being traded on open marketplaces like Tofu NFTs on Binance Smart Chain. Oh yeah, by the way, NFT11 is now currently on Binance Smart Chain. So that is the chain that we are on.
Flowing into your NFT talk there and actually owning the NFTs in your roadmap, okay? Chance, I see that you guys are going to be developing a total of 47,500 NFT11 Legends players, and you're going to be releasing them in batches. Can you explain to me when this sale is going to take place? How much does each player cost, and what is the minimum number of players that we must have to make some money in your game, NFT11?
Perfect segue into this. Alright, so can you just give a little bit of context of the classes of players that NFT11 had? So we have three main classes of NFT players. We have our legends, which was what you mentioned earlier. We have our normal players, and we have our ultimate players. Okay, so what you mentioned earlier was the legends players. So the legends player are the limited in supply. So as you mentioned, they only have going to be only 47,500 limited supply of legends. The special thing about these legends is that they are the only class of players that can help you scout for new players. Right, so that is a different class of players. Just a little bit of introduction to what the different classes are. The legends are the ones that are limited in supply and can scout for new players. Your normal players are just your regular Joe soccer players. And lastly, you have our ultimates. And our ultimates are players that are actually modeled after real life player. So we actually have our first ultimate player, who is David James, who was England's goalkeeper during the World Cup 2010. So we are really proud to have him as our first ultimate player. So these are the three different classes of player. So to get back into the legends player, yes, we only have 47,500. We have since sold about 40% of this 47,500. We started selling them in, if I'm not wrong, this year, January. We release it in weeks. Every week we release about 1,000 odd. And as I said earlier, it kind of every week when we release it, it got sold out. Our NFTs, the sales of our NFTs currently has been on hold for a couple of weeks now because we're upgrading all our players, our player model especially. So yeah, the next release or the next sale of our legend player will come in about 1 to 2 months later. Hopefully, when it comes to game development, when it comes to development of these 3D assets, it's going to take some time for quality work to be churned out. So yeah, our community has been asking us, so when are we going to resume sales? It's under development. We got to be a little bit more patient when it comes to developing quality work. Yeah, but we have other NFTs that are being sold. For example, our stadium seats. Just to give a bit of context, stadiums are like the real estate or the property in NFT11 metaverse. So you can own part of the stadium by owning seats, and seats help you to scout for new players. So if you have a legend player, you stick your legend player into a seat, you'll be scouting for a normal player, and that's how we generate new NFTs. Just like Axie Infinity or other GameFi projects, they have this breeding mechanism. But while we were developing NFT11, we know that the breeding mechanism is what keeps the ecosystem healthy. But we kind of wanted to make sure that when we added our own breeding system, it makes sense in a football or soccer universe. So when we first thought of it, it doesn't make sense to have two players breeding with each other to come up with a new player. It's a bit weird for that to happen. So what we did was instead, you stick a legend player into the stadium, and that legend player will help you to scout for new players. So our stadium seats are also NFTs that are going to be released in the next couple of weeks for people to buy. There's a lot of other NFTs that come into play. For example, club badges. We also have move cards that you can use to attach to your players. So all of these are NFTs that are slowly being released out that people will be able to purchase.
Could you tell me about the gameplay and how much fun your game is going to be? Can the community give their opinion about the development of the game?
I think the game is really going to be fun because we are adding a lot of dynamics into the game. It's not like most projects that we see, or at least most GameFi projects that came out recently. It's a lot like click to earn, very basic, no-brainer kind of games. NFT11 is completely different from that, and that's why we are actually taking some time to actually build the game engine, because the foundation of the game engine is really important. So for the gameplay of NFT11, you could see it as a mix of a football simulator and a bit of FIFA. So we're trying to do a hybrid in that sense. So you could imagine while you're playing NFT11, one match is about 11 minutes. So you'll be watching your club. They will be simulated on the field. They will be kicking the ball, passing the ball. You will just be watching. You can change the strategy. You can change your tactics. You can change your formations as a manager side. But what's interesting that we're adding in is this thing called trigger events. So within the match, there will be events that will appear, and these events give managers or players. So what we are calling our players managers. So managers will be able to have a real-time effect during the trigger event. So you imagine you watch a match, you get simulated halfway, and all of a sudden, there's a trigger event that comes up, and then it zooms into the field, and you get to choose a field move. You can choose either you want to do a 1-2 pass, or you want to do a wing attack, you can cross, or you want to do a dribble. So these are real-time action that the manager gets to choose during that event moment. So we are kind of making a hybrid between a passive simulated game and an active game. So I think that is a very unique part of our gameplay that people would appreciate. I think it's really interesting. And in terms of the dynamic part of NFT11, because there is, when it comes to football, I really love football and soccer because there's so many ways of playing it. There's so many different kind of styles you can play. You can change formation, you can change tactics, even to the point of what kind of players you want to put onto the field. It becomes very dynamic. In fact, you might change your formation or change your style of play depending on who your opponent is. If you have done your homework and you see like this particular club always uses a pressing formation, you might want to play a more defensive one this time, because you want to counter this particular team strategy. So it is going to be very dynamic. It's going to be very strategy based. It's not going to be a play to earn for us. It's going to be a play and earn. We don't want it to be a brain dead game where people just sit on their computer and just click and thumb. It's a brain. We don't like that. So what we want to nurture in this whole GameFi space is this play and earn mindset where people actually enjoy playing the game and earning is secondary. In fact, we kind of want to have this ecosystem where even though the managers, when they earn, they will want to reinvest into their club instead of selling the tokens out on the open market and dumping it and causing the price action to drop. So that's kind of what we are nurturing in terms of our economy, in terms of our community, and a bit of the gameplay right there.
Chance, many P2E games have a dual token system, but I see here that NFT11 has only a single token, the NFT11 token, with one token for all features, including the P2E. Players, after acquiring them, will sell them, and that's going to cause token inflation. So how is NFT11 tokens going to ensure that a stable economy, and in order to combat the token inflation while maintaining utility to the token, what's going to be done about that?
In fact, because we've seen a lot of GameFi predecessors that uses a two-token system, and we see there is a little bit of a flaw there if there is no utility to the secondary token. For example, we all know what's happening to the price of SLP. Because the utility of that secondary token isn't that strong. So the only utility to it is actually to sell it on the market. And that's why NFT11, we are deciding to go for one token system where if this particular token has a lot of utility, it reduces the sell pressure because if you want to reinvest into your team, if you want to buy NFT11 players, if you want to train your NFT11 players, you use the same token. So instead of just dumping it into the market, there is recycling back into the economy, into the whole metaverse, and that's why we are adopting a one token tokenomic. On top of that, we are also exploring having an in-game currency that is not a token, is not an NFT, is a centralized currency. That is something that we are exploring, that we can use this currency for very aesthetic purposes, not so much pay to win kind of in-game currency, but that's what we are looking at because we recognize that having one token might not be enough for the entire ecosystem. But if we do want to introduce a secondary token, it's going to be an in-game currency. It's not going to be a token. It's not going to be a token of any sort. Yeah.
My next question for you here, Chance, can you please provide some information about your roadmap and how is NFT11 progressing so far? Perhaps provide some latest news or major upcoming events?
For our long-term vision, I would say our goal for end of this year, for Q4 of 2022, is to actually start our first season of NFT11 because we are still under a development phase. So what we are working towards is to have our Q4 season 1 to start. For the next 3 months, in our short-term vision, our short-term milestone is 3 things. First thing is our stadium mechanics. So as I explained, I kind of touched on a little bit earlier that there's the way to scout for new players is for managers to stick a legend into the stadium, and depending on what seat they have staked their players in, because we have 6 different kinds of tiers of seats in the stadium, depending on which tier you stick your legend in, it will take X number of days for you to scout for a new player. So that particular mechanic is very important in NFT11. Metaverse is a very important foundation of NFT11. So that is the next thing that is the current thing that we are working on right now. We're actually going through an alpha testing of our stadium. All our alpha testers are actually handpicked from our own community, and that's how we involve our community in the development of NFT11 as well. So our community is very involved in the alpha testing. We have about 30 to 40 alpha testers in our stadium testing, and that's the alpha test. And I think we are 2 alpha tests away from the public beta launch. So I think maybe in a couple of weeks more, we will launch our stadium for public to use, and that's where people in the public, in our community, can start scouting for new players. So that's the first milestone that we're looking at. The second milestone in the next 3 months would be our upgrade of our legends. So as I mentioned earlier, we are pausing our legend sales because we are upgrading all our models. We're adding in more metadata into our players. We're adding personalities. We're adding traits. We're adding a growth chart to our players as well. So all these are going to be ready in the next 3 months. So that's the second milestone. And the last milestone that we're looking at to be launched in either late June or early July would be our alpha gameplay. So the alpha gameplay is the main purpose of our alpha gameplay is to get people to have a feel of what our gameplay is going to be like, what trigger events are going to be like, how move cards are being used, all these fundamentals of the game. That's what our alpha gameplay is all about. It's going to be free to play. It's going to be a small play and earn reward system. It's like a tutorial. After finishing a tutorial, you get a reward base. That alpha gameplay is we're expecting it to be around June-July period, and that's what a lot of people are looking out for. So because we are developing a game, everybody is looking forward to see what the game actually is going to be like. Yeah, so this is the roadmap that we're looking at.
Well, very interesting stuff, Chance. I definitely want to thank you for coming on the channel today. We really appreciate your time. Is there anything that you want to say to the audience, Chance, before we end off today's call?
Yeah, sure. I mean, if you guys, any one of you, if you love football, if you love soccer, if you love football manager game, if you love FIFA, I am pretty sure you will love NFT11. If you are into Web3, if you are into community building, I am sure you guys will love NFT11. So please just come check us out, see what you like, check out our white paper, join our community, we are very active on our community. We have frequent giveaway. If you are lucky, you'll be able to own legends or even own seats. So yeah, these are just a couple of things I would like to say. I really hope you guys will come and check us out.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Chance. You have yourself a great rest of your day, and I hope you're not too tired.
I'm good. I love talking about NFT11.
Awesome, brother. Thank you very much. Have a great day.